The ACLJ is an organization dedicated to the defense of constitutional liberties secured by law.
We founded our organization on the idea that the First Amendment meant what it said. So we've taken the First Amendment, and that has been our cornerstone.
So right now, I think it's critical that as Americans, we understand our Constitution, understand the rights that we have, but also the rights that we have to protect.
It is the anchor and the guide by which all of the other legislation that is passed is tested.
Our goal has always been to make sure that every administration upholds the Constitution.
Many progressives believe in what might be called living constitutionalism. It means changing the meaning of the words in the written Constitution according to contemporary issues and problems that need to be solved.
We believe that the Constitution's words mean what they say, and we don't believe it's a breathing, living document that can change on a whim. There's a way to change the Constitution. It's called a constitutional amendment.
This is when the Constitution has to be most protected.
I think this last year of the COVID shutdown and Zoom school has really reminded Americans that our freedoms, our liberties are at stake, and that there are politicians who are willing to shut us down or shut down our activities or tell us to stay inside.
While restrictions were coming into place as the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the country, churches under the Constitution had the right to be the least restricted of all entities. But there were some pockets where state governments, specifically local governments, did not honor this protection under the First Amendment. And I think maybe the most egregious example was in the state of California, where Governor Newsom actually enacted a ban on singing and chanting inside churches.
I remember when I was much younger, the left thought the First Amendment meant every voice should be heard. Sadly, today they've taken a different direction. Now the only voices they want to permit to be heard are their own.
The government, and this is not just the federal government, but local governments as well, are always looking at new ways to get power.
One of the ways of changing the rules is simply by changing judges.
One of the things that's been in the news with the change of presidential administrations is whether or not to increase the number of members of the United States Supreme Court.
He wants smart legal experts, people who have been thinking about these issues for decades, to have a discussion and a debate.
Joe Biden ran on the idea that court backing might be okay, even though he said he'd hated the idea of it, years ago.
President Roosevelt clearly had the right to send to the United States Senate and the United States Congress a proposal to pack the court, but it was a bonehead idea.
They'll know my opinion of court packing when the election is over.
The Constitution doesn't specify the number of justices. It doesn't. You could add justices to the Supreme Court. I take them seriously at this.
President Biden is now determined to politicize the Supreme Court of the United States.
9 seems to be a good number, and it's been that way for a long time.
Essentially, what progressives are trying to do is to rewrite the Constitution by increasing the number of Supreme Court justices who sit.
Now, it would be very difficult, as we speak today, for Democrats to change the makeup of the Supreme Court at all right now. To do away with that rule only takes 51 votes.
One of the things the ACLJ is doing is to make sure that this 18th century instrument that has served us well for so many years stays intact.
Our Constitution is what makes our way of government great, but it's not automatic. It requires a defense, and quite frankly, the defense of the Constitution in these perilous times is maybe the most significant reason that the ACLJ is needed now more than ever.
The things that the ACLJ does to show American support on certain issues are taken note of. Leaders pay attention. We watch because we want to do the things that America is demanding of us. So when we see signatures, when we see petitions, when we see organizations like the ACLJ active on a particular issue, it's very important of shaping not only opinions of elected officials, but opinions of other leaders around the world as well.
And so I think that the fight that the ACLJ is doing to protect the Constitution is incredibly important.
The ACLJ is ready to fight. I think at this time period, what we're living through right now, the ACLJ is needed now more than ever.